Black Friday frenzy, an estimated 116 million shoppers hitting the stores.
Do you have a product you want to get into retail stores? Or do you have a product idea you think should be sold in retail? Or generally, are you just entrepreneurial? If you're interested in getting products into retail stores like Whole Foods Market headquarters, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Tara. I'm the founder of Four Sigmatic, and we sell our products around the world, online and in retail stores like Whole Foods Market, Target, Sprouts, natural grocers. And in this video, I'm going to share some of the things I've learned along the way on how to get products sold in places like Whole Foods Market. So I'll start with a personal story. My company, Four Sigmatic, has been around for about 12 years. We sell to 60 plus countries. The business was mostly built online through podcast, online advertising, a little bit of Amazon. But we were actually sold in retail from day one because we started in Europe, and in Europe, it's more common to be in retail because of different language issues, this and that. And there wasn't such a vibrant e-commerce community 10 plus years ago. So we actually started in retail, but we had no clue what we're doing. And we got our products into some stores, but we were not optimized for retail. And this led to us, retail was always a small part of our business until a few years ago when we realized that the big opportunity is actually in retail. So no matter how big e-commerce is, depending on the category, still bulk of all the sales from deodorant to diapers to whatever is done through retail. But the retail world is very different, and I wanted to share you a few tips that I learned on how it is different and how that aligns on how you could get your products into retail, even if they're not on the market yet. Retail is very slow. So if you today decide you want to get your product in the shelf of Whole Foods or some other retailer like Target, at best case scenario, it will take you 12 months before it's in the shelf. And it really will take you probably 3 to 5 years to start really consistently making profitable sales there. Now, in e-commerce, you could whoop up a landing page, an e-commerce store in a weekend, and you start selling, and in a few days, revenue start coming in. That's not retail. Retail is steady. But once it gets going, you also don't lose the sale same way. Versus online, you're constantly acquiring new customers. So the process of getting to retail is that you got to talk to buyers. Usually the best way to talk to buyers is by the founder. So nobody's as passionate about whatever you're selling as you. Now you can hire salespeople, and as you get further down in the process, you're going to hire brokers or sales reps, in-house, outsourced. But initially, the best person to pitch is actually you as the founder. So this is the supplement section. We also have products in the coffee and tea section. Those are two different buyers. So even within a retail store, if you want to get to Whole Foods, it might be different people you need to sell at different things. And even within the supplement section, there's multiple buyers for different things. Like somebody else buys protein, then somebody buys functional foods. Some retailers like Whole Foods will publicize publicly on their category reviews. So figuring out the category review deadlines, and then you can submit. But one of the best ways to do is attend trade shows or just build a brand online enough to the point where you have a community and the community is requesting the retailers to bring it in. That's honestly the best way, is that they will ask to carry you and then you work with them on that goal versus you selling to them. So now you got it in front of the buyer loves your product, you put a pitch. They might even say, we want to take this product in. That means already, it's taken you months to get there. Maybe you have mock-ups of your packaging. They will ask for you all kinds of paperwork. You need to have a product liability insurance. You need to get this you need to submit to this portal. You need to send these packagings here. There might be a quality review, all kinds of things before you ever get any sales. So just prepare that it will take a long time and that you might need expert help of people such as sales brokers who will help you navigate all those documents. Now, in retail, what's different about online is that once it starts selling, you're good. But if it doesn't start selling and you're not sure who your target consumer is or what your differentiation is, it's very hard. So I'll give a couple personal examples. Four Sigmatic's original products were elixirs. They were like tea, but no tea leaves. So we couldn't legally call them tea because there was not actually any Camellia sinensis tea leaves. But there's no elixir category at retail. So we would go and pitch retailers and they're like, where do these elixirs go? And some would say tea, some would say supplement, and it was all confusing. And then it would put it on the shelf and it would say, this is an elixir, and the consumer didn't know what it is. So in retail, the best is to align with powers that are be. So if you have a product that's like a better for you version of something that's already in retail, that's probability of success is infinitely higher. You have a soda, but it's like a better soda. You have a cereal, it's a better cereal. You have a bar, but it's a better bar. So you have to be differentiated one way or the other, but it's also good to be familiar enough. So something old, something new. So online, if you want to sell your products, you can put social media posts, you can do lives, you can use influencers, you can do ads, you can do landing pages, you can do video, this and that. You have a rich consumer experience. In retail, you basically have one thing. It's the packaging and a price point. Now, later, as you get bigger, you will have opportunities to do demos, end caps, this and that. But initially, what matters is what is on the front label of your packaging. Will people pick it up and look at it? What's the price point? And are you differentiated enough that people will try it just based on packaging? So packaging is everything. So I recommend before getting into retail, first, make sure you know who your consumer is and what they care about. So test these stuff online. But when you design the packaging for online, even if you're not yet in retail, test it in retail. Take it to retail stores or hire, if you can afford, someone to do a test where they compare the performance of your packaging versus someone else's. If you look at this packaging, it doesn't seem that fancy. It doesn't look super nice. And as a designer, you would probably be like, I can make a better design than this. But this is actually very retail optimized packaging that also does really well in D2C. So if you have a product you want to sell online, it's still good to design packaging based on retail, because in retail you have few seconds, if that, to convince the person to buy it. And you have to kind of do it mostly on the front label. And here's an example of something that is really clear. They repeat protein multiple times, they repeat organic multiple times, they mention the sugars and the grams, and while it might not look fancy or premium, this actually really explains to the consumer quickly what the product is, what it does, and why should you buy it. This is called an end cap. There's other things like wings and shippers and other ways to merchandise better in retail. All of these cost extra money. So think of it like as an online brand, you pay extra to be seen by different people, either through influencers or ads. In retail, just getting a product on shelf is not enough. You have to do promotions, often quarterly, and you have to sometimes pay extra to get in these places. As a new brand, it's hard to afford it, but that's how you also grow it. Now you're in retail, great, your product is sold in the stores. They will take it out of the stores if it doesn't perform. Some retailers will give you a year or two to build it up, especially like natural product stores or more patient. Bigger stores might give you 4 weeks. If you're not selling in 4 weeks, you're out. There's also cost to get into these stores. Some of them are called free fills, some are called slotting fees. But in general, you're not gonna get money on the first order. So when they order from you, not only they're gonna expect, depending on the category, somewhere between 30 and 50% margin. So if $10 product, they wanna buy it at $5 and sell it at 10. Or if there's a $30 product, they wanna buy it at 15 and sell it at 30. And all the promotions you're gonna do, you're gonna have to pay for that discount. But despite that fact, you have to make sure the product sells. So you have to do some sort of demand generation. Obviously, if you have a great product, it's successful out of the gates, but that's super rare, even with famous brands and products. Usually the best way to do it is go in stores and promote or give samples to people. These are probably the two most tried and true ways, is sampling and meeting people in person and telling your story and then becoming advocates of the product. Early on, we found people who were hyper passionate about mushrooms and they became almost our ambassadors, and we had a few dozen of these people, and we would give them free product to go promote the products for free into these stores. That's hard to do, and I don't know if you can do that anymore for a bunch of reasons. But back in the day, we would do thousands upon thousands of these in-store demos by people who were passionate consumers themselves of the products. So to summarize, retail is huge. It can be a massive business opportunity for you, but don't expect it to be a quick win. Expect it to take 1 to 3 years to get in, and expect it to take 2 to 5 years to be profitable. It's not a quick win, but once you get it going, even if the margins are lower, you will probably make more money longer in retail. What's important to do before going to retail is make sure you know who your consumer is and you have the messaging right. Then make sure you have passionate fans who are going to request the stores to carry your products, or retail buyers who love your products. And those are best you meet those in like trade shows, like an Expo West for consumer products. And then finally, once you know your consumer, you know what the messaging is, you have a buyer who loves it, make sure you have the right packaging, test it out. And once the product is finally on the shelves, that's when the hard work starts. Go do every consumer event, give people samples and tell your story, and build an organic following, and through that build success in retail. And then once you're successful in a store like Whole Foods, then someone else like Kroger or Target might call you That was it. That was my video on how to get your products into retail. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I do recommend you take retail seriously as compared to these drop shipping or affiliate or Amazon videos you see all the time advertised online. Retail takes longer to set up, but it's a really consistent, credible way of building a business. And if you have any specific questions on what's an OI, MCB, K-Stack deal, whatever, write them below. I'll do all my best to answer all of them. Thanks for joining and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.